Are you dreaming of a getaway? Want to leave the stress of daily life behind? Whether it's a relaxing cruise or an adventurous land escape, planning the perfect vacation doesn't have to be a hassle. At Cruises International, they specialize in vacation destinations, land and sea, making your dreams come true. Located at 1721 Moon Lake Boulevard in Hoffman Estates, Cruises International isn't just about booking travel. They're your personal concierge, trusted travel advisor, and advocate. Your preferences are unique, and they'll take the time to understand exactly what you're looking for. From personalized service to their global network of specialists, they ensure that your vacation is tailor-made just for you. It's time to plan the vacation of a lifetime. Call 800-255-7447. That's 800-255-7447 today and speak to a cruise and vacation expert. Cruises International. It's time to set sail to your dream destination.
10, 9,
Told
8,
you.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger, ready to move out.
Here's bell&Company.
WRMN and also on the network that we are on of radio stations. We are Bell&Company. I am your host, Mario J. Bell. Thank you for the bell there, Libby. That is Libby Tartars over there. Hey, Libby.
Hi.
On the... What did you do to your hair today, Libby? Libby,
I just got out of bed.
Libby's been sleeping in the back. She doesn't like being on camera. She's kind of like supposed to be one of those like incognito types, you know. So she's only a little bit on the stream. If you're watching the stream, you can only see a little bit of Libby, but she can wave to you. Anyway, so again, this is Bell&Company. We are live on a Sunday night into Monday morning. So happy Labor Day! Woo! Ring the bell! Ring the bell! Woo, 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 woo. Happy Labor Day, everybody. Yes, and for the podcast, obviously you'll hear it when you hear it. But for the live show, we are in the studio. If you want to call us live and tell us about your plans for Labor Day or what you normally do on Labor Day, I'm going to tell a story about what I did when I was a kid. Anyway, 847-931-1410. Again, 847-931-1410. And you can have input on the show, actually. We've got a whole hour here tonight. Maybe we'll go a little longer. I don't know. But we do an hour, at least, every Saturday and Sunday, which is technically Sunday morning early and Monday morning early. But anyway, so I digress. Here we are live again, and we are talking about Labor Day stuff, like what people do on Labor Day, the history of Labor Day. And we've got a really interesting story of some things involved with September, kind of around Labor Day, with the whole... some conspiracies involved with things that are related to the Labor Day movement.
September 11th. 9/11
and 9/11 stuff we're going to be talking about in the bottom of the hour. So you got to stay tuned for the full hour to hear that. But anyway, I want to start off by making a few announcements. For people that don't know, we do broadcast the Bears. Aren't you excited, Libby? You're a Bears fan, aren't you? There you go. Libby's a Bears fan. Love the bell. So we do broadcast them live here starting, we've already been doing preseason game, but starting September 8th, which is a Monday night, it's their Monday Night Football opening game. And we will be broadcasting somewhere before the game. We're doing a live remote, so that's a surprise. You got to listen for where we're going to be, so you listen for that. Also, we have a really cool event that Bell&Company is sponsoring, and people from our WRMN can definitely go there. But that's going to be all the way in Joliet. That's kind of far, near the Shorewood-Joliet border. It's our Halloween bash, and that's happening on October 18th. So definitely check info on my site, which is, by the way, we didn't give my site. It's Mario J. Bell, Mario J. the letter J, so MarioJBell.com. So go to MarioJBell.com, and you could get info about anything going on with all the stations I'm on, including, of course, WRMN, your hometown, the Talk of the Town station in Elgin area. But anyway, MarioJBell.com is going to have info about this event for Halloween. It's October 18th, and we're doing a big music bash, so it ought to be some fun. And Libby's going to be up on stage. She'll be dancing with everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're doing that on, I believe that's Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. Saturday, October 18th. Mm-hmm. So that's coming up. And then a big one that WRMN is very much
That's
involved
what she
with.
said.
Well, tell the people at the America's First Responders Fest that's a big deal. It's a really big show, as Ed Sullivan used to say. It's America's First Responders Fest, and that's in Hampshire. It's a Hampshire, Illinois community event. People don't know that. That's north, north and west of Chicago, way north and west. But anyway, so it's America's First Responders Fest, and that's happening Saturday, September 20th, 2025, again in downtown Hampshire. And I guess it's going from 1 to 6, whether it's raining or not. They're doing the America's First Responders Fest, and some cool things on stage. First responder recognition, live entertainment, Rick Lindy and the Wild Ones, mixed company band, Canyon Arrow Light featuring Tim and Joe, and then there's also a classic car show and a bunch of vendor booths, so it should be a lot of fun. And we will also be out there. The WRMN folks will all be out there and doing a live broadcast from what I understand, so hopefully we're doing it live. And again, that'll be between the hours of 1 and 6 on September 20th over in Hampshire. That sounds like it's going to be a cool event. Basically celebrating America's first responders, which that means firefighters and police, right?
Right.
And anybody like FBI, all those guys. Anybody that comes out. I don't know if Homeland Security's in on that one. Maybe.
Don't know.
I guess they can help in an emergency at the airport. But anyway, so that'll be a fun fest. And again, WRMN will be out there. America's First Responders Fest in Hampshire. So anyway, on the show today, I want to tell some stories about what we used to do for Labor Day.
You got a mouse in your pocket?
Well, my family and all my friends I don't know if people wouldn't know this unless they've been listening to our show on other stations. Actually, we used to be on WRMN, but a lot earlier in the day. In fact, we were on at 8 p.m. at one point, and then we were on at noon as well. So now we're in the middle of the night.
Nooner.
What did we do wrong that they kicked us out and brought us back in the middle of the night? Anyway.
We're too risque for them.
When we used to be on, we would talk about stuff, and maybe they'd remember Libby's story. But for Labor Day, I'm from Lowell, Indiana.
I know.
Originally.
You're a hick from Lowell.
I'm a hick from Lowell. Libby likes to joke that. You're insulting all the hicks from northern Illinois and the farms and stuff, and Wisconsin.
We're all hicks from Lowell then.
Anyway, so what was I saying? So we used to have a really cool tradition we did out there in the town. The town did it. Similar to the First Responders Fest, this was the Labor Day celebration. You didn't do anything for Labor Day, did you?
No, we were depressed. We had to go back to school, so there's nothing to celebrate.
Because Libby's from the Chicago area, and they started school the week after Labor Day.
Yeah.
We had already been in Lowell. We had already been in school for almost 2 weeks, at least 10 days, I think.
Ugh.
Yeah,
my condolences.
We started early. I remember some days it was so hot because they didn't have air conditioning.
Yeah.
I don't even think we had air conditioning in offices that were there. Just literally I think the library might have had some.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it was kind of rough. But anyway, we managed. The uniforms were cotton.
Yeah.
They weren't polyester.
Yeah, good old days of cotton.
So, they were still hot, though. I'm not saying it wasn't hot. But anyway, so yeah, we used to do a really cool event that wasn't sponsored by the school or anything. This was a big town event, like the America's First Responders thing in Hampshire. And it was down the main streets of Lowell's Town Hall. And it's Route 2, but I don't know what they call it. I forget what they called it. I think it was called Commercial Avenue in downtown Lowell. So that's where we would have this big parade. And Lowell was kind of big with Labor Day and unions because a lot of the people worked for the railroads and the steel mills. They lived in Lowell. They didn't live near Gary.
Right.
A lot of them lived way out far because, it was cheaper in the country. Mm-hmm. Lowell was very country back then.
Yeah, I can tell. I know from
I mean, now it's
hearing you talk.
my parents still think it's very country. I'm like, no, it's definitely built up a lot more than when we were there. But anyway, back to the story. So we'd have this big, huge Labor Day event, and like all the schools would be in there, the bands would be in there. And one thing we did from my school was a Catholic school. We would, for some reason, dress up in our Halloween outfits. I never understood what the hell that was about.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
But unless I'm getting mixed up and there was a Halloween parade too, but I doubt it. I'm almost positive it was the Labor Day parade. We would dress up. Maybe it was just the people from the little Catholic school would dress up in our Halloween outfit.
Maybe it's a fall event. I don't know.
I guess it was fall and Labor Day. But what was really cool is that we were like at the front of the parade, and it was like a big deal in the town. We made it on the news used to cover it.
Is your big nose somewhere in the hidden footage?
I probably on some old TV footage, but again, we were wearing costumes, so I just think it's a kind of a weird thing to do. Don't you think that's kind of weird?
Yeah. You got to ask the people of Lowell. I have no idea why.
It was great that we did the parade. I'm talking about dressing up. Why didn't we all dress up as like, with overalls on and look like we're laboring in a factory? That would have made more. Wouldn't that have made more sense?
Farmers.
You know what? Maybe most of the people did, and that might have been what the theme of it was. I was trying to get my buddies to call in tonight, and not one of them called me back. I'm kind of mad at them.
Why don't you ask your parents?
I'm calling them out. They're not going to answer. I'm calling out Jason and Andre.
No, I'm not saying they're not going to. I don't call them now. I'm saying, tomorrow.
Well, I'm calling out Jason and Andre on the air that they should have called in. I want to know, was that the Labor Day parade, or did we have a special Halloween parade or something? But no, I'm 100% positive. I'm like, not 100, because I'm guessing a little bit about it, but I'm not sure.
I believe you.
I got a little doubt in my head, but I'm about 95% sure, I should say, that it was Labor Day and we dressed in our Halloween costume. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. I just remember that much of it. Mm-hmm. And that was, whether it was Labor Day or fall, it was still around that time.
Yeah. I was just depressed, that's all.
You were always depressed because you had to go back to school, right?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Bummer.
I think that's the whole, all of Illinois schools used to go that late. And then all of a sudden here in the last, 10, 15 years, everybody's starting at like end of, middle and end of August.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that? Maybe your daughter, do you remember when she started?
No, I do not. The school next to me started early, I think.
This looks so weird on the camera. I can't avoid looking that you're like half in and half out, because we're doing Libby's silhouette. She doesn't want to be full on camera. She's supposed to be mysterious for people who didn't hear me a minute ago.
I'm not supposed to be known.
But anyway, you don't remember when your daughter started?
No, I just remember the school next to me. I live right next to the high school, and they started early. So.
No, when you had your daughter, did she start school?
I don't know.
Early?
I don't remember.
Oh, some mother we got over here, Libby. Maybe you better stick to radio, not mothering. Yeah. No more kids for Libby.
No more kids.
And by the way, we don't have our little avatar / dummy with us tonight.
We forgot
her. We celebrated Labor Day by making some money at the casino, which is great.
Yeah.
Ring that bell. It's Grand Victoria. Caesars Grand Victoria. We're working on getting them on the air, and probably doing a remote over there. That's in the work. So I might be talking about that a little too early, but that's the positive thinking. But I know I'm supposed to talk to, remember who we were supposed to talk to? No, I forgot.
Sarah?
Sarah, that's it. So we're going to call Sarah during the week.
See, I remember.
Not tonight, not tomorrow, but Tuesday. So, so anyway, that's what's going on. It is Labor Day. We've got about 10 more minutes left before the break. I want to tell a story about the
A man named Jed?
Let me tell you a story about a man named Jed. Old mountaineer nearly kept his family fed. And then one day...
Okay, we get it.
That Jed?
Yeah, Jed. Who the hell would name their kid Jed?
A lot of Southern folks.
Jed.
Which reminds me, I should plug this. We got coming up, not this weekend, this week, not this weekend. Wait, where are we? Yeah, we're at Monday already. We're late Sunday into Monday. So not this coming weekend, but the weekend after that, we're having the Nichols brothers on. Speaking of Southern, they're from Kentucky and I think Maryland.
They run around barefoot.
Yeah, they don't wear shoes or shirts, and they do construction work. So they're pretty interesting. They got a ton of views, so that we're going to interview them.
That's crazy.
And I don't know if one of them's named Jed, but it might be.
Jed.
Because they got interesting, kind of unique names. A couple of them do. But anyway, did you know that Labor Day isn't the reason that they started like 8-hour work days and 5-day work weeks?
Mm-hmm.
You did know that?
Yeah, I knew something about it.
What do you know?
The Henry Ford.
Ah, see, Libby's paying attention.
Yeah,
So
I
anyway,
do.
the 5-day work week did not originate.
Don't underestimate the Libby.
Well, I won't. So anyway, the 5-day work week did not did not originate with.
Unions.
You got me laughing. Yeah, it did not originate.
At least somebody's laughing at my jokes. Jeez. I'm hitting the dry spell lately.
Henry Ford started that. So in 1908, and everybody knows who he is, industrialist Henry Ford, who was around from 1863 to 1947. He died old. He introduced the Model T, the car from the great multitudes, is what they called it. He basically introduced the assembly line. But anyway, he made a stunning announcement in 1914 that he was going to raise the minimum wage in his factories to $5 a day. That's like $200 a day now, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
Twice the standard of the rate back then, and he also implemented that 8-hour day that I mentioned and a 5-day work week. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, he wanted them to buy his cars. That's
What happened is he figured that everybody would be making more money working unless they have time to go out and buy cars.
Exactly.
Right? And they'd be able to afford those cars.
Exactly.
Because they weren't exactly cheap. Anyway,
Exactly.
so the move made business sense.
It made him a lot of money.
According to him, it made business sense. It gave higher wages to people. It reduced their turnover. It attracted better people that didn't turn over, and it created new customers from the cars because obviously they got a discount on the car too.
Right.
It also reduced a lot of mistakes, like fatigue-related mistakes. Because, they used to work, like me, like 12, 14 hours a day.
That's insane.
But that was like standard, and they would work 6 and 7 days a week.
That's insane.
Actually, they didn't work 7 because a lot of people went to church on Sundays. But anyway, so yeah, that's the Henry Ford story. And then the higher wages actually came with conditions. They had to, in order to get the pay increase, they had to actually get that $2.70 added to their regular $2.30 base pay. And they had to qualify by staying sober, having a savings account, maintaining a clean home, and refraining from domestic abuse. And I don't exactly know how he would have monitored that, but he actually ended those standards in 1921. So he abandoned those requirements, but then he also had raised the minimum wage by then. So it was raised to a daily wage minimum of $6 in his factory. So that's a pretty good increase within a few years. And then by 1922, he made headlines again, Henry Ford, because he announced a plan to introduce that 5-day work week that we're talking about. Mm-hmm. So it took till 1926 to actually implement, but he tried to do it all the way back in as soon as 1914 even. Mm-hmm. And basically, those are...
That's when corporations cared about people.
Did they ever? I guess. What about the coal miners?
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying.
Now, that's what we're going to get into why they started unions.
I'm just saying Henry Ford seemed like he cared. I mean, of course
so.
It made him more money, but at least he gave...
Yeah, but he kept good workers.
He threw them a bone, so that's
that's 100 years ago that was going on with Henry Ford. So that's interesting. So that's why we have that week. But then here's the story about unions, and they basically helped reinforce it. But did you know how Labor Day started?
No, I don't.
It's because of a deadly railroad strike.
Oh.
And that ended up leading to having the government get involved and have a holiday for it.
Yeah. And they passed the Wagner Act or something.
Yeah, they were late. Well, I'm getting to that. The federal government was called in to suppress a railroad workers strike, and dozens were killed, and even it got the attention of Washington, D.C. and all local politicians as well. And they, tried to figure out a way to show that they still were supporting workers. Today many Americans see, and this is from the History Channel, by the way, and that last story was from a local paper, like the Minneapolis Sun or whatever it was. So anyway, not local here, but local, it's not the New York Times or whatever. So anyway, or the Washington, the Wall Street Journal, those are all like national. But anyway, so the history behind Labor Day actually is far more complex and dramatic than most people probably know about. And it started with that campaign by workers. It was really heated, and that was in the late 19th century, and that was to win support and recognition for their contributions. So in 1894, July of 1894, not September, President Grover Cleveland actually finally signed into law legislation that created today, Labor Day, November 1st. And he made it in early September, even as federal troops in Chicago were brutally crushing a strike by railroad and the Pullman sleeping car company workers. And that's where 30 people died. So, of course, the labor movement has its main connection to Chicago.
Right.
Of course it does. We knew that.
Yeah.
All the train companies that were here, the Pullman car company that made the train cars, you know, a lot of factories. The Union stockyards, because, you know, the whole Upton Sinclair book was about the brutalness of the stockyards. Mm-hmm. So a lot of that is, believe it or not, Labor Day can be attributed to Chicago. And some early Labor Day celebrations to talk about more than a decade before the Pullman strike. Some 10,000 to 20,000 people actually joined a parade through Lower Manhattan, and this was organized by New York City's Central Labor Union. And now this was as long ago as 1882. So the labor movement, you know, been around for, what is that, 140 years, 150 years almost. So windows and roofs and even lampposts and awning frames were occupied by persons anxious to get a good view of the first parade. How about that? Mm-hmm. That's kind of cool. Can you imagine sitting on a light post waiting for him to come by? And this is in New York City. So anyway, that was the first parade back in September of 1882. And I guess that was actually considered the first official Labor Day even before the president signed that. Because, wait, the president signed it, what did I say? In 1894, so it was even before that.
Right.
So anyways, throughout the 1880s, labor strikes became increasingly common, with workers protesting their long hours and difficult, even
lower wages.
even sometimes dangerous working conditions like the mines, and low wages, of course.
Of course.
So then in 1886, not 1986, 1886, the growing tensions between these labor and capital people exploded, and that was the first big protest rally in Haymarket Square. You know about that story, Chicago. Mm-hmm. Again, Chicago has a lot to do with labor, or Labor Day, I should say. 8 anarchists were actually convicted on murder charges.
Jeez.
And actually 4 of them were actually executed over the Haymarket riots.
That's insane.
So after the Haymarket riots in Chicago, labor organizers and socialists in countries around the world began celebrating May 1st. I think they still do this in Mexico. May 1st is like the Labor Day. They called it Workers' Day.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So that's an occasion that U.S. government officials had no interest in actually sanctioning. So this is before like I said, before Labor Day. Meanwhile, other cities had followed New York's lead, and they held Labor Day celebrations as early as 1887. Oregon became the first official state to make it an official holiday. Mm. And then by 1894, as we were talking about, 22 other states had passed similar legislation. And then, eventually, like I said, when was that? 1894 is when the president got involved. But then also another thing related to Chicago. Did you know about this as well? The Pullman strike, we briefly talked about it a second ago. In 1893, and again, this is Chicago, everybody. During a nationwide economic recession, George Pullman laid off hundreds of his employees that were making the train cars. This is again 1893. And they, the Pullman cars were like luxury cars. They weren't just for cargo. Mm-hmm. They were like for people to sit in and enjoy, like smoking cabins and like big, huge cabins that you could sleep in. Yeah,
smoking is deadly. They're all dead by now.
But they
all died of lung cancer.
Probably. Well, actually, that tobacco, I don't think they mixed it with a bunch of chemicals back in the 1890s. Not
yet. But it's still bad.
But it's still tobacco, right? But anyway, it's still smoke in your lungs. But anyway, so this is 1893. During a nationwide economic recession, he laid off all these workers. And many of them were, has his namesake railroad sleeping car company by some 30% that he cut the workforce. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, he refused to lower rents or store prices in Pullman because, they had a town. It's still there. That's where my parents are from, Roseland, which is right next to Pullman.
Yeah, I know about Pullman.
Anyway, so Pullman, Illinois had like their own little towns where many of the employees actually lived and then worked, obviously. So anyway, those same people that live there, angry Pullman workers, walked out in May of 1894, and then the following month, the American Railway Union and its leader, Eugene Debs, declared a...
Oh, Bernie's favorite.
Yeah, Bernie knows. Sanders knows about him, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, they declared a sympathy boycott of all trains using Pullman cars. So the Pullman strike effectively halted all rail traffic and commerce. How about that?
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. Anyway, so and driving general managers from the GMA Association, General Managers Association, a group that represented Chicago's railroad companies, to seek help from the federal government in shutting the strike down. So that's pretty interesting. And then there was also a federal injunction with troops and violence. What are you saying?
Nothing. I hear the music.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're taking a break now, so we'll be back right after this.
We like to keep you
here on Bell and
informed
Company.
and in
Yeah, I was
tune
trying
to
to
what's
tell you to
happening
break
here
it.
in the Fox River Valley and what's going on here on WRMN. We recognize the importance of local radio to be a part of the conversation and to be a part of the community for the community.
You know, we talked about the importance of community theater, but supporting community radio is a big deal too. And, you know, for WRMN, this is a really cool thing that you guys do every day, and a really important thing. You have to have a local media outlet to talk about what's going on in your town. So you guys do a nice job.
Tune in to AM 1410 WRMN. Don't forget, you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/WRMN Radio. Keep in tune and informed on what's happening here in the Fox River Valley, right here on WRMN.
A loved one owns a gun, and for a while now, you've been concerned about their behavior. They're just not acting like themselves.
Okay.
They've been distant, they've been unpredictable, they've been lashing out. They've been saying things that make you worried they might harm themselves or friends or family. Or you're worried this loved one might hurt you. Maybe they recently threatened someone with their gun. You know something needs to be done, and you wish more than anything you could hit pause on this situation. Well, here in Illinois, you can, with a firearm restraining order. In extreme cases, this order temporarily prevents a person in crisis from having a firearm, giving them time to heal before they do something dangerous or even deadly. If you are worried about a loved one in crisis who has access to a firearm, learn more about firearm restraining orders at illinois.gov/pause to heal. A public service announcement brought to you by the Illinois Department of Public Health, Brady, and the Ad Council.
This is Will Walker with your Fox Valley forecast. Tonight, patchy fog after 4 a.m. with mostly clear skies and a low around 53. Looking ahead to Labor Day, patchy fog before 9 a.m., then mostly sunny with a high near 78, with temperatures falling to around 75 in the afternoon. Currently, it is 58 and overcast. With your Fox Valley forecast, I'm Will Walker on WRMN, the talk of the town.
Grown-ups, don't go back to school. Go forward through school into your future as an IT professional. Whether you're starting out, switching careers, or a veteran ready for change, My Computer Career can help you get into IT in just a few short months with no prior experience. So take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Your rewarding career in IT awaits. That's mycomputercareer.edu. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the VA benefits.
And we're back here on Bell and Company. I am Mario J. Bell. That's my bell, and that's Libby, my bell of the ball. Libby Tarter's over there. Hey,
Hi.
You can see us on the stream. I know I was a little long-winded in that last segment. I wanted to get it all in right before the break, but we did. We made it. We got it right before the break. So, yes, we are back here on the bottom of the hour of our Saturday and Sunday live. We are live on WRMN.
We did it
in the
live.
studio. We did it live, just like Bill O'Reilly when he yelled. Remember that whole thing?
What a drunk.
He was on Inside something.
Inside Edition.
And he was screaming when they were trying to do those promos.
Yeah.
F it! We'll do it live! F it! Man, he went crazy.
He was drunk.
People say that. I don't know.
He's a drunk. He's Irish. Come on.
Maybe he was drunk. I don't know. Allegedly, because he could be listening.
Oh, please.
This was a Fox affiliate at one point. Anyway, we are Bell and Company. You can find us at mariojbell.com as well as on WRMN's website the video, and we do have audio clips that are on mariojbell.com, and there is a Bell&Company podcast site, which I'm working on getting up again. So that's coming soon. And then, of course, we're on the other stations we're on. We're on a station in L.A., KCAA, station in Atlanta, WXKG in Atlanta. And then, of course, Chicago, WCPT, and, of course, here, our home at WRMN in Elgin. So.
What's that music?
What music?
I hear music.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you're hearing things, Libby.
No, I didn't. I hear music. You just turned it off. I just saw you.
Oh,
Quit playing with me and gaslighting me.
I've turned off the music.
Quit gaslighting me. I saw you.
I don't see anything listed that's music is supposed to be playing.
Well,
anyway,
I heard music in the background.
So that last segment we talked about the origins of what we're experiencing right now. Happy Labor Day again, everybody. And in this segment, we want to talk about kind of some things that are going on behind the scenes that maybe we don't realize are going on, or what it's related to, or the labor force and how it got kind of cut into with some things that might have been the pandemic and some other things. So in order to talk about that, we have to bring on our expert in all things conspiracy, Mr. Censored. Welcome to the show.
Yes, this is Mr. Censored.
Yes, I know.
Hi.
I hope so. You called in on Mr. Censored phone. It better be you, or is this the FBI or the CIA or NSA, maybe?
Well, it's not Bill Cooper. You had mentioned. You had made mention of experts, so I can tell you it's not Bill Cooper.
Well, it's kind of hard to be. Well, he's listening in heaven.
The thing about me constantly talking about
you're Mr. Censored.
He's definitely one of the contemporaries to study. Another one is Myron Fagan. That's old school. Myron Fagan is such an old school conspiracy guy that he did his recordings on vinyl records back in 1967. So never mind.
Whoa, that's going back.
Webcam thing. He was making his conspiratorial.
I didn't even know you could record on records, but I guess you had to go to a recording studio and do it, not at your house.
Well, duh.
He's old school. Before I forget, I should put the disclaimers in the thought for the day right here at the top of the
segment.
So here we go. Disclaimer 1, the thoughts, expressions, infos, and other yaks of Mr. Censored are those of Mr. Censored and do not necessarily reflect those of those who are not Mr. Censored. Or maybe they do.
I love that. Okay, you have more than one?
Yeah, the second one is if that which is spoken by Mr. Censored has offended anyone in the audience today, excellent. That means you're paying attention. Thank you very much.
And there's a third one?
The third one is the thought of the day, which is the best way for citizens of countries to stay back the encroaching tyrannical takeover is to stop spying on each other and to start spying on their own governments and political leaders.
Oh, those are good disclaimers from Mr. Censored, our new segment here on Bell&Company. We've been doing pretty good. We're probably going to end up having you on our other shows, because right now you're airing, actually, I've been going back and forth which show I put on nationally. You've been on one of them, so you will be national.
Wow.
So that's a good thing to have that disclaimer for all the affiliates.
You'd mentioned Bill O'Reilly, and I've been just going on and on about Trumpy Trader, and I recall him sitting with Trumpy and O'Reilly saying, both I and the president are vaxxed. Did you get the booster? And then Trumpy says, yes. And then the Trumpy thumpers start booing him, and then Trumpy says, down.
Trumpy, I love you. We're referring to our president of the United States, by the way.
But if you watch the episode of Mystery Science Theater, Pod People, you'll find the origins of the name Trumpy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said this before. Didn't you pay attention?
Look, I like hearing it again and again and again, because that's how you learn, right?
It's a classic Mystery Science. Any Mystery Science Theater fan has watched it multiple times, and the little alien creature, his name is Trumpy. And
there you go.
Yeah, I remember this
haven't
story.
seen Mystery Science Theater in years.
Yeah.
But I really like that show.
If you go on the YouTube, you type, Mystery Science Theater, here's Trumpy, you'll find it. And
I want to actually do something like that, where we have the movies running, but there's a lot of copyright issues, so we don't do it. But anyway, back to the story. We are here to relate. Happy Labor Day to you, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yes, have yourself an excellent Labor Day, everyone.
Yes, and you,
Radio Land.
You wanted to talk a little bit about some things that relate to labor and stoppage of labor back in a couple of different times, right? Including September 11th?
Yes, 9/11 and Commie 19, both intentional stoppages of labor, yes.
We've referred to this before, but just to remind people again of a few things, Commie 19 is COVID-19, the pandemic.
The next level of communist takeover of America, the above and beyond after the above and beyond, which was 9/11.
I mean, that's the worst one of all.
Yes, it's very horrific.
Was Vietnam War or maybe the War of 1812 some of those ones that tried to overthrow governments, basically?
Yeah, I mean, Civil War, the establishment of the Fed, JFK losing his job. It just goes
World War I and II, Vietnam. Where else? What else could we say besides 9/11?
Involving mass deaths and corruption and agendas.
The Gulf of Tonkin in Vietnam. Again, Vietnam.
The Operation Northwoods event of the 60s was to be the 9/11 of the 1960s to cause the U.S. to go into Cuba.
Oh, I forgot about that one. That was what, in like 1960, right?
Yeah, that's probably one of the reasons why JFK lost his job. Is he didn't sign up on it, as opposed to Baby Bush, who did.
Is that what we want to call it? JFK losing his job? Is that how we refer to it now?
Yeah.
You mean being assassinated in front of the world?
They literally fired him. And speaking of Bill Cooper, I stand by his theory that it was William Greer that put his weapon in his hand over his shoulder as he was driving, and pow, right on JFK at close range for the guaranteed kill shot. And then the boogeyman that was created was the external shots fired, to say that it was external shots fired that finished him off. But the guaranteed kill was, the theory is that William Greer, the driver. And nobody talks about that.
Oh, yes, ever. Yes, people do talk about that. I've talked about it on shows before as well. I brought it up. But you're not going to get an official, Warren Commission report on it.
No.
But let's talk about it. We've got about 20 minutes or so to talk about that and plenty other things. But let's start with
the labor,
the labor stuff. But let's start with, first of all, let's finish off on the whole thing that causes labor movements to crush. The assassination, obviously, everything was shut down to honor the president for like a week. So, but I don't think that was the reason they did that one. They wanted regime change there. There's an interview I was just looking at that Roger Stone did with Johnson. I thought it was his aide. It was actually President Nixon. And Nixon was telling him, well, both of us wanted to be president, myself and Johnson. And one of us was willing to go to any stances, any lengths as possible to get it. So there you go. And that's Roger Stone. I think he's fairly credible, although Libby doesn't like him.
No, I don't really have.
Libby's sitting there shrugging her shoulders. What?
Well, he got the Doors story wrong, so.
He did?
Yeah. Half of it is BS.
You think so?
According to the Doors themselves, so.
What was, I don't remember what Roger Stone was saying about the Doors. What about, you mean the CIA stuff?
Oliver Stone or Roger Stone?
I'm talking about Roger Stone, not Oliver Stone.
Oh, I thought
Libby's got her stones mixed up, Mr. Censored. And by the way, we are on Bell&Company talking
I'm falling asleep.
We're talking to Mr. Censored and about all the stuff related to 9/11 and September 1st, Labor Day. And Libby is dozing off because we've been up for 2 days straight, Mr. Censored.
Well,
I'm high on all kinds of sugar and pills for heart and diabetic conditions.
I told you that Sir Tech would put me to sleep. I told you that.
I gave her a allergy pill. Now she's falling asleep. But anyway, back to Mr. Censored. The Kennedy Association with 9/11 and shutting things down and Labor Day.
Yes. So we have a situation where for decades in this country, speaking of unions and unfair working conditions and so on, where it's like, show up to your job sick or you're fired. Okay, they don't care. Nobody cares. And then it's like, he came to work and he made everybody else sick, when maybe what made everybody sick in that job was the cleaning solutions that they sprayed in the building. But society has been conditioned to only believe that you get sick from hugging grandma and you made your grandma sick because you hugged her. Nothing else. It's not the electromagnetic frequency waves. Is that not cell phone radiation towers? It's not AC/DC current. It's not microwaves. It's not cell phones. It's not.
Wait, what were you saying about the cleaning agents? That could be a problem as well.
So what can happen that people don't discuss is, hey, me and 8 other guys here at this job, we all got ill at the same time. Well, something's going around, and it's spreading from person to person. It's like, maybe there's a bunch of stuff they sprayed in the break room that 8 guys shouldn't have inhaled, and there was a side effect, and the body became toxic, and in order to detox, they became sick. And
well, my theory is like you inhale too many fumes from like bleach or ammonia, or maybe even pine sol. I don't know about anything else.
Use vinegar.
Chlorine spray, yeah.
Hydrogen peroxide couldn't hurt you. People clean with that, I think.
The point being is that what Commie-19 did was said, oh, no, it's okay if you stay home sick. We're not going to pull your chain, play games, figure out a way to have you fired, so now you can't go get unemployment, or that the union can't help you. And then Commie-19 comes around and just flipped the whole thing, and Trumpy, sorry folks, country's closed, like Wally World, okay. And
I got the reference.
Yeah, and
good old John Candy.
Scam? Yeah, what is a scam? What is this scam where all of a sudden it's like, oh, stay home from your job or you're sick? Are you serious? What about all the schnooks out there, the working stiffs that have had to spend a whole lifetime's worth of having to go to work sick, having to fetch doctor's notes? Bosses don't believe it. They say they're lying. You come in and you're fired. All of a sudden, the big boogeyman, Commie-19, comes in and is supposed to keep everybody from going to their jobs because they wanted the people on the streets ready to riot when it was riot time. That's why they did it. They had a checklist.
Right. Well, who was behind the riots? That's another big question. But wait, you bounced right back into relating it directly to labor, but what was the connection with President Kennedy and the assassination? Or we were just saying that was just another conspiracy out there?
Well, as far as all of the, Agenda End America, the establishment of the Fed, Pearl Harbor.
Got it.
We're just rattling off a list.
Controversies. Yeah, I got it.
JFK losing his job. No, I wasn't connecting JFK to labor, although I think they did in that film Irishman, that union movie from...
Oh, you mean the one with where they kind of show what happened to Hoffa in that one, sort of, kind of in that one?
Yeah, I mean, that movie was amazing. I mean,
it's like 4 hours long.
Yeah, well, they did all the computer effects to make like everybody look young, and it was just like, wow, that was. But
I liked it. Did you see it, Libby?
No.
You never saw The Irishman?
No.
The one with Pacino and De Niro together?
Yeah. No, I have not.
And Pesci?
Okay, you don't have to rub it in. I didn't see it.
Oh, she didn't see it.
No, it was an amazing film. I mean,
I never even heard of it.
Libby lives in, Libby's kind of like you, kind of out in, she's not trying to be found, she's, that reminds me of a story I got to bring up. It's totally related to labor and what people are going to do when we, there are no jobs because we're facing the apocalypse. Do you want to touch on that a little bit before I get to this story? What are we going to do when there is no labor, when everybody's, fighting for their life and there are no jobs?
I mean, you're talking about all the AI and the robots and the march of the Terminators,
Exactly.
I mean,
this guy is pretty astute, isn't he, for being secretive and nobody knows where he's at?
Yeah.
So I'm going to get to the story of how we survive it in a second, but let's talk about how we're going to get to that point because, it already happened in August of 1997. The computers got smart. You've seen Terminator, right?
Oh, August 29th, 2:14 a.m.
Yep, exactly. You know all about it. Man, you got a big... Do you have like a library in front of your computer of stuff you pull up, or you just know all this?
Looked at the clip recently a friend sent me, but I have watched that movie about 80 gazillion times.
Libby, you know what we're talking about?
The Terminator, yeah. I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
But that's when computers take over,
basically. It's one of my life philosophies. If you want to understand what's really going on in the world, turn off the news and watch a movie.
I guess it depends upon the movie. Like, some of the Star Trek movies are predicting futuristic stuff that actually is happening in the last, 50 years.
You're using obsolete flip phones now on Star Trek when you watch it. You're like, oh, I got a flip phone.
Yeah, but by the time you get to like Picard, now it's all the some stuff you see now, even though that's supposed to be the 2300s.
They showed Picard with a laptop. Back in the 80s, but.
which I thought was pretty cool. They had iPads back on Star Trek: The Next Generation in 8, 7. But anyway, back to the story. So that's when like things are going to hit the fan, or technically that date. In what year was that supposed to be, or did it already happen?
I think 1997. I think.
So I said that, yeah. So we're already in it.
Sure, why not?
I think so. But anyway, so what do you rattle off a bunch of stuff. Let's slow down, back up about, like, where we're at with AI and losing jobs and all that. So go ahead, you can pick up and make some references, and then I want to talk about this actor that's preparing.
No, they always need something. So with 9/11, the industries got affected, the film industry got affected, everything, and then with COVID-19, everything got decimated. It wasn't just like certain industries. Now it's like, you can't even just be like a server or valet parker anymore without wearing a mask, or the customers are going to complain and the managers are going to fire you. That didn't get affected by 9/11. Like I said, they took the commie takeover to a whole new level with COVID-19, and then.
And again, we're talking about Mr. Censored. This is Mr. Censored telling us about how he refers to the pandemic COVID-19 from 2019, 2020 up till really like a year ago. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, and then they said, here's your stimulus check. So basically that's equivalent if I come up to you and I, with my left hand, punch you in the nose, now your nose is broken, it's bleeding, and then my right hand, I say, well, here's a check for the doctor to fix it. And then you say, well, how about if you just don't punch me? And that's exactly what happened in 2020. It's like, hey, Trumpy, how about if you just don't punch us? Keep your checks. Okay? He wasn't being a nice guy. Okay? There was an agenda. They've been in the process for decades of ending the country, and that's part of why I brought up JFK. And they wanted the riots. They've always wanted the riots to help end the country. That's been going on for decades. It's nothing new.
Makes sense. So, wait a minute. I take it that you and I know Libby are not fans of President Trump, and now he's been president twice. So
I think it was rigged.
You guys both think that maybe
I think Elon Musk helped him win. I do.
I think it's more than Musk that's behind him getting back in. What do you think, Mr. Censored?
The New World Order people went on lunch break during Sniffy Joe. They needed to go on lunch break and set up their next whatever for Trumpy to come back and continue the Agenda in America process. Not that Sniffy Joe didn't continue it, but
he spent a lot of money.
Yeah, there's all kinds of debacles. He kept the vaccine torch moving. It didn't start with him. It started with Trumpy. But it's the cliche of the two different colored wings on the same bird.
Right.
Flying in the direction that it needs to fly. And so what they did was, without germs and don't go to your job, you can't succeed with your riots. Because if everybody was at their job and people come in, we're going to smash these buildings and smash this, be like, dude, I just punched in here. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna beat you. Get out of my job. Okay, those riots wouldn't have succeeded. The purpose of the riots for the New World Order people and the real powers that be is not civil rights. It's not human dignity. It's about ending the country. It's about real estate.
So forget about Labor Day and worrying about labor rights. This is worrying about survival. And on that note, I want to take a quick break, and we'll come back and we're going to talk about the survival stuff and get your insight on that, Mr. Censored, right here after this break, right here on Bell&Company. Be right back after this.
I'm falling asleep.
All right, and we're back here on Bell and Company. We had a little weird glitch there where some things didn't play, but we're back, and we got a few more minutes to talk about the survival stuff and dealing with, basically speaking of labor. Happy Labor Day, everybody. If you haven't been listening, this is Bell and Company with Mr. Censored, and I want to get his view on this, the topics here about, it's a story, actually. The actor Josh Duhamel, how do you say it? Duhamel? Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I think so.
It's Josh Duhamel. Do you know about him, Mr. Censored?
It's Duhamel.
No.
Well, anyway, he says that he's 70% ready to survive an apocalypse, and he lives in Minnesota in what he calls his doomsday cabin. So he's an actor, Josh Duhamel. He's been in a ton of movies.
It's Duhamel.
I can't think of any right off the bat. There was one like survival one that I really liked. He was like in Costa Rica or something. They were dealing with drug lords and stuff. It was really good. Anyway, so during a recent interview with People, the 52-year-old actor reflected on whether his family was ready if there was an apocalypse in their Minnesota home. And he calls it his doomsday cabin. And his response was, well, I have enough. And he's from a show, Ransom Canyon, now he's starring in. And he's saying not 100%. He's probably he says, I'm probably 70% ready. And Duhamel admitted that he still needs to sharpen his survival skills so that he could provide a steady source of food in the aftermath. So where do you stand on that, Mr. Censored, in the last few minutes of the show?
If Trumpy cared about any of this stuff, he would have put people to work rebuilding the country instead of AI and Elon Muskrat and robots and drones and surveillance and police state.
But how do you feel about being ready? Are you ready?
Me, I have my canned goods for when the Gestapo cops and the vagrant, Mad Maxers are running up and down the street shooting people. And it's like, well, can't go to the store. I don't want to get shot. It looks like a can of green beans and drinking out of this can of green beans some water for dinner tonight. So that's about as ready as I am.
I've got money, like actual, what do you call it? Like gold and silver, what do they call those commodities? I have actual, silver that's ready to go, like it's a coin and it's silver, so I figure I'm ready. How about you, Libby? Are you ready?
I'm ready for bed, actually.
Yeah, Libby's ready to go to sleep. We're about to wrap it up anyway. So, again, thanks for being on with us, Mr. Censored. You're going to hear him on Bell and Company quite often, maybe even once a week. So thanks for being on and commenting on the Labor Day. I hope you have a good Labor Day. And you take care. Everybody else take care. And we will talk to you next time on Bell and Company.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye.
Night. Whoa, those headphones are killing me.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. The Alzheimer's Association provides care, support, and research to help you take control of the situation with your family and manage the disease together. If you or your family